These 2 weeks will separate average players from pro players. If you're at the right skill level, I promise you, if you watch this video and follow the routine I cover, you will go pro. This is because we're now entering the pre-season, where there will be no more tournaments, and this pre-season is going to bring new pros to the scene all in under 2 weeks. In this video, I'll give you the routine that the top pros are using in order to maximize their performance for when tournaments start again, and the same routine that non-pros are using to give them the best chance at going pro for when this 2-week period is up. Step 1. Take a 1-day minimum break. Now before you leave, I know this probably isn't what you expected me to say, but by taking a break you will prevent burnout, which would most likely lead to a skill cap, which is essentially where you stay at the same skill level even if you put relentless hours of practice in. Obviously this isn't what we want. I'll cover the exact daily routine a pro uses to stay on top in just a few seconds, but first I need to tell you how taking a break actually improves your skill. So by taking a break, you'll ensure that you're consistently improving every day when you come back. Also, it's been proven multiple times that when most players take a small break, they actually play better when they come back because of that short break. Something you cannot overlook though is how long your break is. Now the length of this depends on your skill level. So let's say you're complete beginner to competitive, then you should probably only take a 1 to 2 day break. If you're good at the game and have between 0k and 5k PR, then you should take a 2 to 3 day break. If you have 5k to 15k PR, you should take a 2 to 4 day break. If you have between 15k and 50k PR, you should take a 3 to 4 day break. If you have over 50k PR, I would recommend taking a 3 to 7 day break. Finally, if you have 100k PR, and I would recommend at least a 5-day break. Now the reason you should take a longer break if you're better at a game is because the better you are, the easier it will be for you to return to the game and still be able to perform exceptionally well. And when I say a break, I mean you don't touch Fortnite at all whilst you're on that time period when you're on a break. But when you come back, it's time to grind and follow the right routine, which I'm about to share with you. And that leads us nicely on to the next point. After a break, pros practice the most important skill when it comes to Fortnite, and this is fighting. This means that they play more creative towards the start of the season than they usually would towards the end. This is because creative allows for the highest amount of fighting repetitions, which obviously leads to more improvement. This doesn't necessarily mean that you should be playing more creative as well though. The reason for this is because you probably played too much creative already, and although I just said that pros are playing more creative at the start of the season, that's because they usually don't play that much creative towards the end because they focus on ranked and scrims. So how much creative should you actually play each day? Well, I would say a good starting point is 1/3 of your total time on the game. So if you play for 4 hours, then you should play 1.5 hours of creative. If you're like me and struggle more with ranked though, then you should probably play a little less creative, like for only 1 hour out of a 4-hour day, which equates to 1/4 of your total time on the game. On the other hand, if you play good in ranked but your mechanics aren't too good, then you should play more creative, like 2 hours out of a 4-hour day. So this equates to 1/2 out of your total time on the game. One thing to note is that the quality of your practice is worth much more than the time you play. So make sure you're doing the right drills and playing the right maps. So let's cover that now. Step 3, the best creative routine. To make your creative routine as optimal as possible so you improve quickly, you need to include every element of Fortnite. The main elements I'm talking about are fighting, building, editing, and aim. Now there are so many different maps, but the truth is that there isn't just one map that is going to suit everybody. We're all better at some things and worse at other things, so play the maps that focus on what you're bad at. An example of this is if you're good at build fights, then play realistics or box fights instead of build fights. So now you know the truth about creative practice. Here is the best creative maps for every type of element and every type of weakness. Now you can pick one from each category to play in your creative routine. For aiming, the best maps are Raider 464 Angels, Raider 464 Headshot Only. You can also play Kovacs or Aim Labs if you're on a PC. And in terms of which one I would recommend, I prefer Kovacs, but to be honest, they're pretty similar, so it doesn't really matter. For editing and building, the best maps are Raider 464's Mechanics Training Map V4 and Raider 464's Freebuild Map. When it comes to fighting, the best maps are 32 player Zone Wars, Martoz Turtle Wars, Forever Zone Wars, Rezon's 1v1 map, Speed Realistics and Pandvil Box Fights. I would specifically recommend 1v1 build fights, Speed Realistics or Pandvil Box Fights, as they are the main three. And then the others you can use as extras. But just pick one map from the building, editing and aiming categories, and then pick 1 or 2 maps from the fighting category. But the most important thing to make sure you're doing with your creative is to go against players that are the same skill level as you, if not better. The better your opponent is, the more you'll improve. It's simple, it's been proven millions of times, and the true fact is that if you go against players that are worse than you, you're going to match their skill level and you're actually going to get worse at the game. And no one has an excuse not to play with good players. If you don't have any good players on your friends list, just go to a Scrim Discord server and ask someone there to 1v1. I cover the best Scrim Discord servers later in the video. Anyway, before I tell you about one of the most important things you need to do in order to actually improve, I want to ask you something. If you're enjoying this video so far, then please consider using code Blexiti in the Fortnite item shop. It helps me out a lot and it helps me to create and improve my videos. But now let me tell you about step 4. Step 4, the right way to play ranked. The way you play ranked is one of the biggest factors that determine both how much you improve and how fast you improve. There is only one way you should be playing ranked, and it's simple. And this way is the W key absolutely everybody you see. By doing this, you'll improve much faster than all the other players who just camp and only care about what rank they are. One of the biggest things that sets the difference between average players and pro players is how they play ranked, and by playing ranked like how I just mentioned, you'll see huge improvement in just a few days. But the most important thing that every single pro does is step 5. Step 5, how pros really become pros. When it comes to being truthful about the methods of practice that pros use to become the best players in the world, scrims is 100% towards the top of this list. Something really important that you ensure you're doing every game in these scrims is to make sure you get to the end game. But also, don't just sit in a conal game, because this will just make your practice ineffective. So make sure you're actively shooting people, looking for easy fights and engaging in the game. Like I said, your main priority is to get to end game, but being active in the early game and mid game is also beneficial. Every single top pro plays scrims, so it's obvious that you should too. If you're new to scrims, then you probably don't know which servers are the best. So the best server for Europe is Noble Opens, and the best scrim server for NA is Manu Scrims. Obviously, if you can get into higher ranks of these Discord servers, the better the practice will be. You need to remember that you will eventually see improvement if you truly focus your routine on becoming a better player. Thank you so much for watching this video, it genuinely means a lot to me. If you liked this video or it helped, please consider liking and subscribing, and if you want to support me on my journey of making videos, then you can also consider using code Blexiti in the Fortnite item shop. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.